I've watched you. Sometimes our people disagree with you, but I understand some of your approach. Sometimes we take a hard bite. It helps us as politicians.
Nowadays, when I listen to you, I even panic.
Why? Why do you panic?
The way you, Papa, Papa.
Figuratively, he bites as hard as he can.
Okay.
And of course, when he puts his fangs into you, you certainly feel it. I think it took.
Watch Johnny's bite.
Bismillahir Rahmanir Rahim. Alhamdulillah Rabbil Alameen. Hasbunallah wa ni'mal wakil. The Lord is my light and my salvation. Whom shall I fear? And yea, though I walk through the valley of the shadow of death, I will fear no evil, for you art with me. Thy rod and thy staff, they comfort me. Thou preparest a table before me in the presence of my enemies. You anoint my head with oil. My cup runneth over, and surely goodness and mercy shall follow me all the days of my life. And I will dwell in the house of the Lord forever and ever. Amen. Assalamu alaikum. It's Tuesday. Welcome to Johnny's Bite. We're still in Ghana month, so make sure you're wearing something nice from Ghana. And want to say thank you to Sona Fashions in Tamale for my outfit this morning. 0246 590 162. That's 0246 590 162. Get something special for you and yours this Ghana month and beyond. Now, today, the budget will be read to us, and expectations are very high regarding the tax cuts that were promised and that are expected. That's one. But also, most importantly, about avenues that will create jobs for the young people of this country. We have a very, very strong workforce that are currently idle, and the expectation of the young people is that the new government will find cause and good reason to create jobs, sustainable jobs, not look-alike jobs, or jobs that are masquerading as jobs, not short-term schemes, but jobs that will be sustainable, that will hold the young people together. Because, as I've always said, and as we all know, the devil finds work for the hands that are idle. And all this conversation about drug abuse and misbehavior and all of those things is not out of nothing. You can't entirely also blame it on the situation of unemployment. Some people would decide that that's what they want to do anyway. But to a very, very large extent, if the jobs had been there, even factory hand jobs. And yesterday I met two young men who walked up to me and said, look, they are ready to do any kind of work so long as it pays them some money. Our security couples have told us how that situation where a young man or a young woman says, I'm ready to do anything so long as it brings me money. They have told us how that could be a disadvantage to us as a country because around us, we all know how Burkina Faso, how Niger, we all know the countries, and we know. And we know the conversations about terrorists, we know. We cannot pretend. So a lot of expectations will be on the head of the president through his finance minister who will be speaking today in Parliament. And it is not about artificial jobs, because the truth of the matter is that if we had really created the jobs in the past, the numbers wouldn't have ballooned and would have reduced the numbers. But it is what it is. So the expectations are very, very rife. But I want to beg our friends at CLOSAG. The strike you have striked is not striking. Our very good friend, Mr. Bampo, because you say you're on strike and your members are going to work and you are insisting that you're on strike. That CLOSAG strike is not working. And I gave you a reason why it will not work. Because when Professor Opoku Amankwa respected educationist was kicked out of the ministry, the Ghana Education Service, and replaced with somebody you people called a banker. You threatened fire and brimstone to say that we will not work with that person. But alas, you worked with that person for all the period that he was there. So you cannot have double standards and double principles, one that applies to this person because we will complain but we'll work with the person, and then you cannot have another standard that says that we will not work with this person because we don't like the person. So the truth of the matter is that the people who are supposed to be helping you to strike are not striking. In Ghana, we will say strike if you war. It is not working. So the earlier we call it off and save a face and image, because we have stood with you before. And I also gave you the instance when we needed organized labor to stand firm on the conversations around Galamsey. We didn't find you. Some of your workers say, look, or your members, they say, look, we were expecting a lot more cash in terms of how much we were giving to us as per increment in our salaries, wages, etc. We were offered 10%. That was when we expected labor to speak up. But of course, the president has a gentleman's agreement. You are making demands that people who are being sacked, those things should be reversed. The government and its elements are also saying that, look, there were last-minute appointments that were made, some backdated, etc. I have stood here and spoken about how people have joined security agencies and had not gone through the full length of training, but were in uniform. I've showed you the videos. I showed you when they started. I showed you when they ended. So please, we beg you. We beg you. Now, let's talk about a scorecard. I told you about the rail line around the Aveno Caprice area. And this structure had been erected just around the place where a motor rider was killed. And you can clearly tell the train, how the speed is, and the structure. Please put it up there. Let's see the structure. Let's see how the train and the structure was there. And we complained about it. We showed it to you here. I am happy to announce to you that that structure is gone. Courtesy the Accra Metropolitan Assembly, Okankwe South. Engineer Nia Mugi, he led the team there. And then the structure now is down. But this used to be what was there. And it was a dangerous thing. When you have people who have the country at heart like Nia Mugi of the AMA is doing all he can, you will find that things will work the way they have to work. We saw it. We filmed it. We made an official report. We complained. We spoke about it. And the AMA has woken up to the duty and fixed it. It is a scorecard that we jointly share with the AMA. And particularly, we would like to celebrate Engineer Nia Mugi of the AMA, with his team doing an amazing job. So congratulations to us all. And may we learn from this not to be erecting structures anyhow. There's another one around Bubuashi. An old man complained to me and said, we are driving, we can't see the road because the sellers have almost come onto the road. So they went there too yesterday. And these ones, once we talk about it, it should tell you that ours is not about just talking. Ours is about looking for results and results that matter. So every day be a scorecard namu, Johnny's by Bako, scorecard bebre. Now, one of our friends, Alex Kinati, of the Ghana National Fire Service. He put something up there. He has made an official complaint to the police. But I want to share the full story with you. This is on his Facebook page. It says, the full story of my abuse by 3 plainclothes officers who identified themselves as CID officers of the Ghana Police Service. On March 5, I was with Fosuhene Frederick at Palace Mall for a shoot. So I was not in uniform, but had my service radio handset with me all the while. We got there quite earlier, so I decided to get some wachi beside the flower pot overhead and even asked for the prices of floor stickers at a nearby shop. After eating, Fosuhene Fred and I were returning to Palace Mall. We got to the zebra crossing to cross the road along with about 2 other pedestrians. It's a 2-lane, so one vehicle stopped for us to cross. Just as we were crossing, a pickup with partial plate number ** 2991-24. We couldn't get the prefix of the number, with 3 men in braids speeding towards the zebra crossing. As we tried to cross, they almost hit us at the zebra crossing, prompting an angry reaction from me, questioning why they were speeding despite the other car stopping for us to cross. The men got angry and told me to get away. In an insulting tone, I also replied them to get away, prompting a brief confrontation. The man at the front passenger seat, who looked to be in his mid to late 40s, got down from the car, charging towards me as if to beat me. The driver, also a young man looking guy in dreads, also charged at me, held my t-shirt by the neck while pushing and shoving me, telling me that they were taking me away. I asked them who and where they are taking me to, but they ignored my question despite repeating to them that I am an officer. Then I saw the third occupant also come close to me with an assault rifle over me. Now, he has reported to the police quite long. He's written a statement, but show the pictures. Show the pictures of how a fellow officer was abused by others claiming to be an officer. A fellow officer abused. And I thought that as a country, we had gone beyond some of these things. I thought that as a country, we have gone beyond this. This could happen to, a senior officer. What about Kuzo Tiani and Noble Crosby Annan or Johnnie Hughes or 62 or Ulo? I always tell people that when you get an opportunity to wear a uniform, you must remember that it is the respect that we all have for the uniform. That is why nobody can abuse you. So he had ultrascan, abdominal ultrascan, etc. And I'm saying that if this could happen to an officer, what about us, the civilians? It's a simple question to ask. And people forget that they will not wear the uniform forever. At some point, they will retire. At some point, they will retire. And it behoves on, and I say, look, there are professional police people, and there are some of them who just do things anyhow. I have stood here and spoken about Chief Superintendent Ofe and his men at the police headquarters. I've spoken about Armstrong and a couple of them. Very professional policemen. And there are some of them too who do things anyhow. If indeed they are policemen, then they have not conducted themselves well. Why, is it not the same police MTTD that tells us that when we get to the zebra crossing, we should slow down when we see people there? Is it not the same police that tells us that? Is the police no longer our friend? It's a simple question. Oh. This is was done to a sister security service personnel. And it is not just anybody. I'm talking about the PRO of the Ghana National Fire Service. So, let me leave it here because I could say more than what I have to say. Let me leave it here. Tomorrow we shall continue. Please call me 055-924-2717 and 055-691-0154. 055-924-2717 and 055-691-0154. A commissioned officer has been treated like this. Perhaps even the people who even did it have no pegs on their shoulders. Perhaps. And it is not the man that you respect. It is the rank that you respect. You may not like the man, but it is the rank that you must respect. Good morning.
Good morning, Brother Johnny.
Odewale, how are you?